Yo, what is up, GLDL people? What's going on? It's me, Raz, again. 3 videos in one night, dude. Insane. I've been on that fucking grind, bro. By popular demand, Qwilfish PRs. This is a hard division. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Like, it's really hard, mostly. Like, I think, in general, non-max teams become harder to rate, but even then, it's just, like, outside of, like, the bottom 1, 2, like, I was like, man, these teams are good. Like, this one was rough. You guys did a really good job drafting, and it made my life hell. So, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it was worth it. Again, just like the last one, we're going to go from number 12 to number 1 in that order. So I hope you guys are ready. Up first, aka last place, the Seattle Superlags, R2. Listen, buddy, friend, pal. I know. I get it. I know that non-max is new to you, and that's okay. I'm not here to throw shade. I know that you're out of your element here, and so I'm not out here like, oh, you're an idiot. No. Non-max is hard, and I don't know how much help you had. However, with that said, first of all, Shuckle Chansey, cringe. You gotta stop doing this, bro. I know I lost to it, but competent players are gonna roll that shit every time. It's not good. It's not a good pairing, and Shuckle doesn't do anything outside of that. So Shuckle is like not doing anything for this team. Chansey is doing very, very little for this team. There's a reason it's in tier 4. It doesn't do almost anything. Skarmory sucks. Bad Pokemon. So yeah, those 3 are easily the weakest parts of this team, which is kind of astounding because most of this team is not great. Get rid of those immediately, please. Use your transactions, dump that shit. They're all garbage. Additionally, this team hits the perfect storm of bad in the sense that, like, if you look at these numbers down at the bottom right, these defensive stats are through the fucking roof, dude. It's insane. Skarmory, Shuckle, Cloyster, Chansey, Rotom, all these mons with, like, dummy defensive stats. And then you'd be like, okay, so this is just a really defensive team. The issue is, it's so bad defensively in terms of typing. Like, you have huge weaknesses to Fairy, Fire, Ice, and Rock. Those are really bad types to have weaknesses to in and of themselves, and it's all 4. Rock is not a great type for a Pokemon to be, but it's a really good offensive type, and if you're weak to Rock, people are going to spam Rock Slide till the cows come home, and it's going to be really bad. There's a reason Rock Slide is one of the best moves in VGC, and the fact that you're weak to it, very bad. Fairy is the best type in the game. Having weakness to that, always bad in any context. Fire, again, a really, really fantastic type, and the fact that this team is relatively soft to it, not great. And I know from experience, because my VBA Season 2 team was also really weak to Fire. To rewind for a second, I meant to say this and then I forgot. The biggest issue that's causing, like, your bad Fairy weakness is the fact that your first 2 picks start your fantasy core, and then you don't get a steel type until literally the lowest tiered mon on your team. Get a better steel type, please, I'm begging you. Skarmory is bad. And then Ice, very similar to Rock. It's not a great type for a Pokemon to be, but it's a fantastic offensive type, and a lot of mons get really solid Ice coverage. And so being weak to that, also not good. being weak to all 4 of those really important types, really bad defensively. So it's like it's a defensively oriented team that isn't good defensively, which is so weird. Like, the stats are there, but the typing is not. There's good support for offensive pieces with, like, Butterfree and Grimmsnarl, but you don't really have the offensive pieces to support. Like, you have Butterfree, Rage Powder Butterfree, and, like, Shell Smash Cloyster, but honestly, that's kind of it. And other than that, you're just, like, using Rage Powder. Like, redirection is nice, but, like, redirection without a specific purpose, I don't know, man. Your offensive numbers, just, like, in general, really underwhelming. Most, aka all, of the other teams are gonna come in and pressure you like crazy with a pressure that you cannot match or hold out against. And they're gonna come in and they're gonna do damage that you can't deal with, and you're gonna have to rely on Shuckle Chansey, which I just said is not good, because it's not. And so it's not just Shuckle Chansey, right? Like, you have other stuff, but for the most part, this team just has, like, a ton of massive flaws, and I think you really need to pivot off of several of these things. Your top 3, really solid. Rotom Heat could be cool if you had, like, if you wanted to do, like, a Disquake thing, but you don't have a Disquake partner. So, like, Rotom Heat should probably go away. Butterfree is fine, but, like, you have to have something that can abuse it better than fucking Cloyster. Passimian is okay, but, like, talk to Ryan about Passimian. He had it in MDL, it let him down. Chansey, bad. Cloyster, I think Cloyster has potential, honestly. But, like, I think, I don't know. I think Lurantis is good, but you don't have, it's best under Trick Room, and you don't have Trick Room. Like, you have Trick Room on Latias, but the fact that Latias won, the fact that, I don't know. I know Ryan did that with Latios, but, like, it's different, and that only worked because, like, it caught his opponent off guard because it's weird and not good. And then, like, Shuckle is good, quote-unquote good, under Trick Room in terms of speed tiers, but it doesn't do anything. And so it's like, this team is really going to struggle to find its footing using any kind of combo or archetype or anything. And I think it really needs a lot of work. I think you need to dump Chansey, Shuckle, Skarmory with your free agent picks, and then try and trade some other things like Rotom Heat to other coaches who have a better comp for it in exchange for something that fits your comp better than Rotom Heat does. Anyway, I talked about this team for a while, and again, I know I'm sitting in a format that I'm very familiar with, and you're trying something new. I get it. So I don't want any of this to come across as like, oh, you're an idiot, or, oh my god, what the fuck? Like, no. It needs work, and that's okay. You just have to do that. Up next, I have the Corporate Crab Hammers. There are people who like this team, and I know that because I talk to people who like this team. I don't. Like, you have Thievul with no terrain. Entei with, you don't have any speed control, like, at all. Like, if you really felt like it, you could set Trick Room with Kadabra, but that's terrible. Herdier is just here for Intimidate. I like Kadabra, honestly. I think it's fine. It's weird, but I think it's fine. But, like, Herdier is just for Intimidate. Whiscash, it's bad. And, like, I know it's on the number 2 team in Empoleon, but that team has Rain. and you don't. Whiscash doesn't do anything for this team. Mr. Rhyme is good. I like Mr. Rhyme. It's good value in tier 4. It gives you fake out, encore. It's bulky enough to fire off like a couple freeze tries, but it's not going to carry you in any games. Kingler is cool. I'm a Kingler believer. You gotta have Tailwind, and you don't have Tailwind. Electivire doesn't do anything. Like, Electivire is not a good Pokemon. 123 attack is cool, but it's getting rolled. Again, because you don't have speed control. Mienshao is great. I love Mienshao. You get fake out, you get coaching, you get, like, pressure, base 125 attack, really strong. But, like, you're almost forcing yourself into, like, Scarf or Sash because, again, you don't really have speed control. Thunderous, I like here because it's some form of speed control. You know, you get Thunder Wave, and you can deter, intimidate off of Entei, Landorus, Mienshao, Electivire, and Kingler, which are all physical attackers. Admittedly, like, you bring Hypercutter, you can't get intimidated, but still, like, Sheer Force ends up being better, and so having that Defiant as a deterrent is really, really nice. Landorus, it's Landorus, you know? And then Entei, I think it's really weird. It's kind of weird here, but I also like that you have a fire type. I think, again, I know I keep harping on this. I think it would be better with speed control. I know Ryan likes this team because I talked to him about it. I sorry, I did a lot of ragging on this. Hold on. Let me pivot for a second. I don't think this team is awful. I think it needs work in order to support the mons that it has. Entei is good. Landorus is good. Thunderous is good. 3 tier 1s forces you into 3 tier 5s, which is not great. So you're really front heavy, and then even in tiers 2, 3, and 4, the picks don't really do what you need them to do. I think you have a lot of good pieces in their own right, and I think this team definitely has the ability to do well, but I think it needs a little bit more support that it doesn't have at the moment. So honestly, I think with a couple of trades, this ends up being a really good team. I'm not a fan of it right now, but I think it can go places. Also, I bring Rock into this team for free. Like, Landorus resists, and then, like, Whiscash resists. And then it's like, you know, sorry, I should rephrase that. I bring Rock Slide into this team for free, because, like, obviously Mienshao's, like, rolling a rock type, and so is Landorus, and Electivire probably has a fighting move, and Kingler is, and Whiscash is. What I mean, like, Rock Slide is a really good move, and it does crazy good into this team. So I think it needs a little work. I think it has potential. I think it's not perfect in the state that it exists in right now. Anyway, next, we have the LA Lucarios. Again, this is not a bad team. This is where we get to the point where it's like, I like all the teams, but I gotta rank them. And I think the issue that I have with this one is that, like, hard Trick Room becomes a bit risky for a reason that I mentioned, again, in the Empoleon PRs, where because your entire team is focused around going slow, your opponent doesn't have to worry about speed EVs. And so they are free to invest a pretty substantial amount in a bulk, which admittedly you also get to do, but it makes calcs messy for you. However, Hatterene is really strong. You don't need me to tell you that. Everybody knows that. Porygon 2, I think, is a really solid setter. Hitmontop is great here. I think Fake Out is a really solid way of making Trick Room easier to set. So you just, like, you fake out whatever Mon is trying to stop Hatterene from setting Trick Room, and then they can't really stop it anymore. So that's really good. Indeedee Mail, okay, listen, I like Indeedee Mail. It's important to note, Indeedee Mail does not get Follow Me. You probably already knew that, but I have to throw it out there just in case. It doesn't get it. And so, like, if you're looking for redirection in that slot, you don't have it. However, I still like it here because you can do, like, Expanding Force, double Expanding Force with Indeedee and Hatterene. Super good. I like Gourgeist. Dan has done well with Gourgeist, so, like, I've seen it do really well. I think it's a good mod. It's bulky. It can be threatening if you run the right spread. I think Gourgeist is good. I think Umbreon is not great, personally. Like, Snarl is cool, and Foul Play is good for, like, opposing physical attackers, but other than that, it doesn't really do anything. Golisopod, I think, is a weird and interesting choice. I don't love it here. I like its base 40, which is good. It's perfectly passable for a Trick Room team, but, like, considering how often it wants to click something like First Impression or Aqua Jet, having that next to Indeedee Mail, which is setting Psychic Terrain and stopping that priority, not the most optimal. Pikachu and Reboot falls into this boat as well. I don't know what it's doing here. It feels like an offensive Mon that wants Tailwind, but your Tailwind setter is Altaria. Altaria is not a good Tailwind setter. I have it in UDL, and it's so unreliable. It's bad. It's tier 5 for a reason. And then, like, I feel like without that, Pikachu and Reboot struggle to do anything because they don't have passable Trick Room speed tiers, and they don't really have serviceable stats outside of Trick Room either. So I feel like they don't do here what you want them to do here. I think Quagsire's fine. It's Quagsire, you know, Water Absorb, Unaware is nice to have, but other than that, it's like, okay, it's Quag. I don't think it's the worst tier 5 you could have picked. I don't think it's the best tier 5 you could have picked, but it is what it is. I think it has potential. Honestly, like, I think it would be pretty easy to pivot this into a really, really solid team, which it's already good. Like, it's already fine. But I think with, like, a few changes, this thing could really start to take off. Up next, we have the Feisty Scrafties. I like this team, and I get it. I think this is going to be a hot take, and people are going to disagree with me, and that's fine, because this is an opinion piece, and so I don't really care. I think bulky offense is underwhelming. I really like the way this team looks at the top. I like Incineroar. I think especially in a non-max format, Incineroar is crazy good. People keep fighting me on this, but honestly and genuinely, I think Incineroar is great. I love Kartana and Pelipper. You immediately have a fully fleshed out Fire, Water, Grass core, and the rain is mitigating Kartana's fire weakness, which is fantastic. Galarian Weezing, it's fine. You don't really have anything on your team that you're actively wanting to get rid of with neutralizing gas, and you don't really have much that's benefiting from Misty Surge. So, like, I think you're usually running Levitate, but, like, Misty Surge would be nice if you want to, like, dodge statuses. Whatever. I really like Jellicent, especially with Pelipper. Double Water is not amazing, but it's not bad. Like, it's one of the better types to repeat. I think it's a good Trick Room setter, and Water Spout in the Rain does crazy damage. Spread in non-max is really a big deal, and Water Spout, amazing. And then, like, Disquake with Jolteon Flygon, like, Air Balloon Jolteon, and, like, I think that's fine. I think Jolteon, like, is required to be Air Balloon in that instance, obviously, so it's not getting Earthquake, but Orbeetle is also a fine Trick Room setter, but your Trick Room mode is, like, what? Orbeetle, which is base 80, Jellicent, which is base 85, and then Carbink and Mawile, which are distinctly supportive Pokemon. And then, like, Poliwrath is good for a tier 4, especially on a rain team, but, like, I had Poliwrath, again, a mon that I've used before, and it let me down every time. Maybe I was using it wrong. Like, base 95 is not bad, and base 70 with Swift Swim is good. You're gonna chunk stuff. I don't think you're ever picking up, like, a raw KO. And that's something that I think this whole team bumps into. Like, your second strongest mon being Incineroar, you know? Like, obviously, there's other things that are, like, mitigating it. Like, Kartana, really fucking strong. And then, like, obviously, Pelipper is getting the rain boost, Jellicent is getting the rain boost, Poliwrath is getting the rain boost. Triple Water is compared to Double Water? I don't know about that, Chief. This team does not love electric types. You have stuff for it. Kartana resists, Jolteon is immune, Flygon is immune. So, like, there's certainly stuff to do about it, but, like, electric's not great. I think the damage output of this team is pretty low, and the bulk is good, but I think not good enough to survive the onslaught that a lot of doubles teams can put out. I think it has, this is a team where I have to reiterate that the ranking is of the team and not the coach. And I bring it up here because while I don't love the team, I think with the right coach, it can be successful. So it's not bad. It's not great. Next, at number 8, we have Theo and the Beantown Pinnacles. I really like this team when I first looked at it. I have come to like it less. I still think it's good, right? I think Duosion, I said this in the Empoleon Division ones. I find myself repeating a lot of things. I love Duosion as a Trick Room setter. It's really pretty bulky with EV-Elite. Base 30 speed is fantastic for Trick Room, and base 125 special attack? What? In tier 5? Give it to me. Please. Such good value. And then, like, Alolan Marowak is a fantastic Trick Room abuser. And then, like, Swampert's okay. I don't really know what Swampert is doing here. Filling out type cores, if I had to guess, which I have certainly done myself. Emolga, I think, is weird and bad, but it's like Thunderwave stuff. I don't think it gets Eerie Impulse, but if it does, that would be cool. It just, I don't know. I think Emolga is really underwhelming. Again, probably more here for, like, typings. Double normal type in your tier 4s, I don't really get why. They're both, like, supportive. Obviously, they're supportive in different ways. And Miltank, like, can be offensive, but base 80 attack, not fantastic. I think Persian is a pretty solid fit here, honestly, and I think Miltank could feasibly get traded out for something else. If Tornadus got Sunny Day, then I would like Leafeon here, but it doesn't. And so, Leafeon is still fine. You can, like, set Tailwind, but you lose access to Solar Blade. And that increase in power from Leaf Blade is really nice, coming off of a base 110 attack, which is not bad, but not great. I think Bisharp is okay here. I think you run into the issue of both of your tier 2s and your tier 3 are weak to ground, which is not amazing, but it's fine. Alolan Marowak is a scary physical threat, and then like Swampert and Leafeon have base 110, so it's like a decent, it's a fine, it's a good Intimidate deterrent. I don't think it's the most necessary on this team, but it's not awful. I like Naganadel, especially with Tailwind. That it's gonna pop for sure. Again, I like Alolan Marowak, especially with Duosion. That's a ton of pressure under Trick Room. Torn is just good, raw. And then Tapu Fini, I don't know, it's fine. It feels a little out of place here, but also it's Fini, so it's whatever, you know. You throw that bitch on any team you want, it's fine. It'll never be a bad pick. It's definitely like a balanced team, but I think there are a few pieces that just feel a little awkward. But with honestly, just with like a couple traits, I think this team really, really goes to town. Bean town. Anyway, at number 7, we have the Nova Scotia Scyther. I like this team a lot. With redirection from Togepi, Blastoise can set Shell Smash for free. Tapu Lele is really strong. It does whatever it wants. Again, Dragapult, beat up into Lucario, crazy strong. The top of this team is a little reminiscent of Rolo's team in Empoleon, but I think it starts to fall off a little lower. Silvally is good, Slowbro is good, it's a great Trick Room setter. Aggron feels like it should be so good. I love Aggron, it's one of my favorite mons. It's not. It's so sad. It's not a good mon. Like, if you're not clicking Head Smash into something, like, it doesn't hit calcs. I was calcing Body Press off of base 180 defense into Hydreigon, still not killing. Like, admittedly, that's probably more like Hydreigon being bulky, but like, it's just the stuff that you want to really go crazy just doesn't, and it's really, really unfortunate. However, it's not awful. Base 50 is a fine speed tier for Trick Room, and then like having access to Rock Slide is always nice, and Iron Head to hit fairies is also nice. It's underwhelming, so just like be aware of that, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Sceptile, on the other hand, is Unburden with Psychic Seed is great, but even with like that speed boost, Sceptile does not do a damn thing. Sceptile is bad, and if you're shooting for an Unburden user, I think you should pivot into something else, but I also think you don't need an Unburden user. Lele is good enough in and of itself. Togepi is really good value, Redirection is really solid, we talked about this in my team overview. Turtonator is weird. You look at Turtonator, you go, oh, holy moly, base 36 speed, this is a great Trick Room mon. Turtonator's not a Trick Room mon. It feels like it should be, but its base special attack is 91 and its base physical attack is 78. In order for it to have damage output, it has to Shell Smash. Like, Blastoise can do other stuff without that, but like Turtonator has to Shell Smash. And so it runs into this thing where if it doesn't Shell Smash, it's not fast enough. Or no, if it doesn't Shell Smash, it's not strong enough. But if it does, then it's too fast for Trick Room, but not fast enough for outside of Trick Room. It's a really, really tricky and unfortunate thing. But really what it just comes down to is that Turtonator is bad. It hits type cores. It's like it's an important type to have, fire or dragon. So I don't think like drop it, but it's gonna be tricky to use because it's tricky to use on any team. And then Unpheasant, I like Unpheasant if I'm being completely honest with you. I like doing funny super luck stuff. It sets Tailwind. Base 93 is not bad. Base 115 attack, really not anything to sneeze at. I think it's a solid tier 5. I like the team. I think there are some underwhelming pieces here. But other than that, like I think it's pretty solid. And the fact that it's ranked at number 7 is pretty telling of how absolutely dummy the teams are in this division. Up next at number 6. Thank you. The Seattle Marinis. This team, I like this team a lot. I like Redirection next to Urshifu. Mimikyu is honestly a pretty solid Trick Room setter. And with things like Drampa and Marowak and Shiinotic and Doublade, like that's a scary, scary Trick Room mode. Raichu next to Urshifu is really, really great. Nuzzle, Fake Out, Helping Hand, Lightning Rod taking those electric attacks that Urshifu does not like. Fantastic partner there. Jinx is amazing value in tier 4. Solid speed tier, especially again with Raichu controlling those speed stats. It's good. Great offensive typing. Very easy to kill, but like it's a tier 4, and all things considered, really good value for tier 4. I like Malamar a lot personally. I think it's got a lot of potential to just like do weird shit. You know, like it can. Like I ran a crit build with it once, which was fun. The most obvious thing is like superpower, but like it can do stuff. I like its typing a lot. It's interesting, and I really dig it. Doublade I already talked about, and then Sharpedo. I like Sharpedo. I think Sharpedo's cool. If you talk to Burst about using it, he's used it before. He said it was underwhelming, but honestly, base 120 attack and speed boost, shit, dude. I think you're clicking buttons. Actually, I take it back. I think you're clicking one button, probably killing something, and then dying. I think it's really good. I think it's really good value for tier 5, personally. I'm a Sharpedo believer. I like this team. The issue that I run into is that it is kind of frail. Like Doublade is pretty bulky and hard to kill, but everything else kinda gets O-code. Like Rock does really well into this team, which I've said a bunch of times, but like Rock Slide is a big deal, guys. It's pretty straightforward. You know, most things on this team are doing one thing. And so it's like, it's kind of like they have to prep for a bunch of things in team building, but then they come and they see your 6 and they're like, okay, I know what all these things are going to do. If you play your cards right, it's still going to do well. Like, this is a good team. But like, that's really my biggest gripe with it, or those two things are. But like, outside of that, like this team is fuck. This is a good team. Up next, at number 5, we have Panda Wannabe and the Baltimore Pangorioles. I like this team a lot. It's got, first and foremost, a fantastic Fire-Water Grass core, right? Where you have a bulky water type, which is, fuck dude, bulky water types are so good. And then you have a really offensive fire type with speed boost, and Blaziken just goes crazy. And then you have like a supportive offensive grass type where you're like, you got a little bulk, got a little offense, stop priority with Queen Majesty, great, awesome, good stuff. Landorus Incarnate, very, very scary. I think Aromatisse is a absolute phenomenal Trick Room setter. you don't have great Trick Room abusers, so I don't know how necessary it is. It's like a piece by itself with not a ton of support behind it. But I think Haxorus is really strong. Um, it's without any speed control in terms of like going fast. Um, it runs into a bit of an issue where it's gonna get out, like 97 is good, but it's gonna get outpaced by a lot of things. Like that base 100 benchmark guy is seriously kind of a big deal, which is why I keep talking about it. But like, damn, that shit is strong as fuck. And it's got good coverage. I like Haxorus a lot. I'm not 100% sure what Togedemaru is doing here, but I mean, it's Togedemaru, you know? You got Fake Out, you got Nuzzle, Eerie, no, that's just Raichu. Togedemaru doesn't get that. Like, Spiky Shield is cool. Zing Zap is a weird move that I dig. So it's like, it's fine. I think Togedemaru is fine in a vacuum. It's not like... I think it does better on teams that have things that it's specifically supporting, but in a vacuum, I think it's fine. Bouffalant is really like your best Trick Room thing, which is not phenomenal considering base 55 is not amazing, and base 110 attack is not great, but Head Charge is fantastic, especially with Reckless. And so I think it's fine. Lunatone mostly just like it can set Trick Room, but again, your team doesn't really want that. Rock Slide is mostly what I see it doing here, just because, like, again, for the 8 billionth time, Rock Slide it's a really important move. The spread is nice. Zoroark and Shedinja are similar in terms of their roles right now in my brain, because like they're mostly just there to keep people guessing, you know? Because it's like, okay, here's what I think I'm attacking. Is one of them Zoroark? Or, alternately, okay, is he gonna ally switch with Shedinja and completely negate the damage that I was about to do? Because, like, aside from, like, flying with Blaziken, Shedinja does not share, well, Blaziken and Serena, but, like, Shedinja, does not share a ton of weaknesses with, like, your really, really threatening mons. Like, Haxorus is weak to Ice, Dragon, Fairy. None of those hit Shedinja. Serena is weak to Flying, which does, but then, like, and then Bug does as well, but, like, Ice, that doesn't hit. Suicune and Shedinja, as far as I know, share no weaknesses. Blaziken only shares Flying. Landorus doesn't share any, and so it's like it's typing with Wonder Guard works really well with a big chunk of your team, and then like Zoroark shenanigans, I think it's cool. Ground does pretty well against this team. Like, if someone is doing, like, Disquake stuff, you're kind of going to be in trouble. Obviously, Landorus helps mitigate that, considering it's immune to both. But, like, Ground is not a great type to be weak to. And then, again, Aromatisse, as a Trick Room setter, doesn't really have any reason to perform its role in this team. Like, Helping Hand and Screens are still fine, but I think you could get a better mon to do those things for you. Next we have the Jubilife City Jirachis. I like this team a lot. I'm gonna come out and say it, frame one, Lapras does not need to be here, and I think it's bad on this team. Everything else, crazy. Cinderace, Whimsicott, Crocodile, Latias, Cobalion, Gengar, Galvantula, Hitmonchan, all that just, like, top to bottom, crazy. And then, like, Hyper Voice Noctowl next to Gengar, crazy, insane. Solrock, again, similar to Lunatone, mostly spamming Rock Slide, but also, like, Will-O-Wisp, which is cool, and can throw out a Psychic-type move if it really needs to. Hitmonchan, Fake Out, Close Combat, Coaching, whatever. Galvantula Compound Eyes is really, really good. dropping like thunders and shit. Gengar is really strong, and it's a really solid tier 3. It's just, this team is like super hyper offense. This shit is blazing fast. Nobody is outrunning this team. The only issue is that if somebody brings Trick Room, then you kind of just lose, because you don't have the most bulk, and so if you don't have the speed advantage, then you're kind of in trouble. But outside, if you can stop Trick Room from going up, fuck, dude, this team is going to go in. And then we get to the top 3. At number 3, I have the Milwaukee Mammothswine, coached by M-Boss. This team... Shit, dude, I don't even know what to say. The Rain Mode, Politoed, Ludicolo, Dreadnought. Again, I mentioned this in a couple teams ago. Triple Water... I don't know about all that, Chief, but a lot of Ludicolo's weaknesses, water weaknesses, are mitigated by that grass typing, so it's not as bad. The rain also mitigates the fire weakness on a Scavalier. Intimidate with Luxray is great. Crobat is a fantastic Tailwind setter, which Urshifu absolutely loves. That's going to go crazy. I like Gothitelle personally. Trick Room, Fake Out, Helping Hand, Heal Pulse. Then just like Psychic, and also as an Intimidate deterrent from things like Urshifu and a Scavalier. I think that does really, really well here. I think if you wanted to, you could do like Ice Shard into Druddigon Cryogonal stuff. I think that could be cool. I think in a vacuum, Druddigon is not amazing, but like for a tier 4 with Cryogonal, I think it does fine. And then Magmar, it's Helping Hand Will-O-Wisp, but it's pretty solid utility to get out of your tier 5. I really like this team. I think it's really, really great. I'm scared of this team, honest to God. Again, I came to this and I was like, I don't know how to order 1 and 2, bro. They're both so good. Like, I don't even know what to say, but I settled. And in number 2, I have the Corpus Christi Kinglers. Listen, this team is cracked. Absolutely broken. Very similar to Dan's VBA team, but considering Dan's VBA team won the VBA, really, like, you can tell it's a really, really solid team. Arcanine is a great mon. Intimidate, fantastic. It doesn't really have like a beat up procs on this team, but it's fine. It doesn't need it. It's Arcanine. Base 110 attack and the coverage that it gets, Arcanine is really solid. And DD Female is a good mon in its own right, but paired with Drifblim, you're getting Tailwind for free every single time. It's amazing. Snorlax is a fantastic Trick Room mon. Gardevoir is the reason this team is number 2 and not number 1. I like Gardevoir. I think Gardevoir is good. I think it's versatile. It's the only Trick Room setter on this team, and I think it's a questionable Trick Room setter, personally. Obviously, it's doable, especially considering in DD Female gets Follow Me, so you can just go Follow Me, set Trick Room, do whatever you want. I think it's a little weird. Arctovish and Abomasnow, I think, are the optimal... I think that's the optimal hail mode, right? Because Abomasnow, it can spam Blizzard, or it can throw out like Wood Hammers, Giga Drains. It can set Aurora Veil. It has options. And then Vicious Rend is just busted, dude. And so it's like you're hitting it all, you know? You're hitting fire types, rock types, steel types for neutral, which is great. Just like you're covering a lot of bases that ice type usually struggles with. I like Komao here specifically. I think Clangorous Soul is good next to Redirection, which is present. It also it has good base stats without it, but like I think in order for it to hit its full potential, you have to have the ability to Clangorous Soul, and this team has that. Berserker is good under Trick Room. Electabuzz, I love his support. Thunderwave, Helping Hand. You can also just Electro Web. You can also just like throw out Thunderbolts if you really want to, because for a tier 5, base 95 special attack, really not that bad. Galarian Linoon is a little wonky, but again, considering the utility he's getting out of the rest of these pieces, I don't even fucking care. If he does something with it, great, amazing. If this ends up being an effectively 10-mon team, I don't care. It's a great team. What can I say, dude? The homies know how to draft. I don't know what to tell you. Shout out to Crabby. This is my boy right there. And then, number 1 is Rebellion and Lucian. Holy fuck, dude. Where do I even start, honestly? The Trick Room mode here, absolutely insane. Cresselia Cursula, busted. If your opponent has, like, a strong ghost type, like Gengar, for example, Autono Cursula. So just, like, that by itself, busted. Glastrier's here? Fuck, dude, Glastrier's over... OP, dude, please nerf. Piloswine is... Double Ice is weird, but, like, Piloswine is good under Trick Room, you know, base 50, and then super bulky with a new Violate and base 100 attack, good, really solid value for a tier 5. And then he's got mini double weather, where with Sableye he can set Sun and do stuff with Charizard or Shiftry, or he can set Rain and do stuff with Seismitoad and Qwilfish. Like every... Rillaboom is Rillaboom, come on, dude, it's non-max doubles. Rillaboom's broken. Give me a fucking break, dude. Like, every piece on this team is doing something and is super threatening and something that you have to respect, which most teams, the vast majority of teams, cannot say to the extent that this one can. Crazy value out of tier 4s and tier 5s. The fact that this team has 3 tier 5s and all of them are, like, actually things that I am a believer in, absolutely ludicrous. The amount of value out of tier 5 and tier 4, actually, honest to God, ridiculous. This team is broken. I don't know how this happened, but it's insane. I mean, like, it doesn't have Tailwind, but, like, I bring up speed control a lot, and so it feels like sometimes I bring it up as if, and I bring it up and I worry that it comes across as me being like, oh, Tailwind is the most important thing. It's not. And I think this team is a really good example of that, because, like, yeah, it doesn't have Tailwind, but it doesn't need it. Its Trick Room mode is busted. Swift Swim and Chlorophyll on Seismitoad and Shiftry, respectively, and also on Qwilfish. It's, like, the only thing that, like, doesn't have speed control that kind of feels like it needs it is Charizard, but, like, who fucking cares, dude? Sableye has Quash, and, like, a team that relies on Quash for its speed control is probably not going to do really well, but it's not relying on that. I don't know, dude. This team is insane, and, like, wow. So yeah, that's it for Qwilfish division. I don't know when Frogadier and Squirtle PRs are going to come out, because they're still drafting, but they will come. I'm going to make them. I promised Toxic I would do it, and that's the GOAT right there, and I would never let him down. So, yeah, I've been talking for like 2 hours straight, so I'm going to shut up now. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't gone and watched the other videos that I released tonight, please, please, please go and do that. I think they're really fine. And if you have, then I'll see you for week 1, dude. If you disagree with me, ping me in the Discord, dog. I'm down to have a conversation. This was a really hard ranking, and if you think I'm wrong, great. And if you think I was mean to you, I'm really sorry. I'll give you an apology, and I'll give you a little kiss on the forehead. But yeah, that's going to be it for me. I will see you guys later, honestly. Peace out, gamers.